Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, a bombshell report has made damning findings of lies and sexual harassment by former University of Tasmania Vice-Chancellor Peter Rathjen. The report by South Australia's Corruption Commission examined allegations made against Professor Rathjen during his time with the University of Adelaide. For more now, we're joined live by reporter Sean McComish. Sean, what did the report find?
Well, good evening, Kim. The investigation by South Australia's Anti-Corruption Commissioner examined claims the professor inappropriately touched 2 women at a function in April 2019. It found not only did the Vice-Chancellor engage in misconduct, he lied about it when under investigation. Professor Rathjen was previously Vice-Chancellor of the University of Tasmania from 2011 to 2017. The report makes no findings or allegations of his time in Tasmania. He has since also stood down from his role in Adelaide. The 170-page report itself hasn't been released to protect the women at the centre of the findings. Instead, a 12-page statement about it has been made public. Kim?
The state government has promised a long-awaited Hobart ferry service will hit the water next year. It's confident the congestion-busting proposal will finally become a reality. The search is now on for an operator.
The idea has been floating around for years. Now the state government is doubling down on its Derwent Ferry promise.
We hope that in the first half of next year we have a service up and running. We promised as a government that we would implement a Derwent Ferry during this term of office.
But the service would only be a 1-year trial between Bellerive and Sullivan's Cove. A search is underway for potential operators with early expressions of interest open. The tender is expected to be awarded at the end of this year.
We're very confident that the ferry will be a reality and will be used. We're strongly encouraging people to get out and use it once it is available.
Questions linger on the project cost and what infrastructure upgrades will be required.
But we do want to allow for accessibility, and we do want to make sure that the service tender includes provision for bicycles.
This was an election policy in 2018. All they're doing is launching an expression of interest process. Why didn't they do that 2 years ago?
The government is confident there is demand, even with the pandemic likely to see some still working from home. Meanwhile, there's good news for those temporarily out of work because of quarantine or self-isolation. Federal pandemic leave of up to $1,500 has been approved for Tasmanians. And today in Parliament, the Premier had this reassuring message for public servants.
This is not the time to cut the public sector. Every job is valuable.
How Tasmania will pay off the COVID bills remains to be seen. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A police officer is recovering from an injury to his hand after attempting to break up an altercation at Magra last night. A number of people are now facing several charges in relation to what authorities have alleged was a chaotic incident.
This was the scene at New Norfolk yesterday. A 31-year-old man charged after allegedly discharging a firearm on Benjamin Terrace. Police say no one was injured, but then just hours later, authorities were called to another address nearby.
Just prior to 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, police were recalled to an address that they had earlier been at, Back River Road in Magra, just outside New Norfolk.
Police say there was a link between the 2 incidents, describing the alleged scene as chaotic. A 39-year-old man, a 31-year-old man and a 30-year-old woman all charged. A police officer caught up in the aftermath, allegedly stabbed whilst trying to break up a fight.
The police officer has selflessly gone in to separate the 2 parties, and he himself has sustained what's thankfully a recoverable and relatively minor puncture/cut wound.
The injured officer received minor lacerations to his hand and is now recovering at home. Today he's being praised by his colleagues.
He was placed in a situation that he hadn't asked to be placed into, that through no fault of his own he was acting in the good faith of protecting other people.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
A pair of surfers who braved dangerous conditions to save the lives of 2 men near Marion Bay has today been recognised for heroism. But Zeb Critchlow and Tyler Holmer-Cross say reflecting on the 2018 incident fills them with sadness.
It was a daily surf that began like any other for best mates Zeb and Tyler.
The waves were quite large. It was a big East Coast swell.
Quickly unfolding into one of the most dramatic days of their lives.
I just heard someone yell out and looked over and just saw that the boat was upside down.
A vessel capsized and its 3 crew members thrown overboard in dangerous conditions.
The waves were breaking straight across the barway there.
Watching the chaos from afar, the pair hopped on a jet ski and sped over to the 3 fishermen. 2 were able to be rescued, but sadly, a 40-year-old never made it back to shore alive.
No, I think about it often, and just it saddens me that we couldn't get that guy.
Their heroic actions today recognised with a bravery award, but for these beachgoers, it's all part of the surfers' code.
If a vessel or a person's in trouble in the water, you go and help.
They weren't the only Tasmanians recognised, with Penguin man Terence Townsend praised for his efforts rescuing a driver from a burning car in New South Wales. The pair says the incident has made them more aware in the water, and if danger arises, they'd do it all again.
At the drop of a hat, I'd like to think that anyone else would do the same thing for me.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmanian News.
Exploration is resuming at the Helier gold mine for the first time in a decade. In recent years, production has been focused on the tailings dam, but the soaring price of gold is encouraging the mine's owner to broaden its search.
Through the 90s and 2000s, the remote Helier gold mine near Tulla boomed, producing some 15 million tonnes of ore. But after a rocky past decade, where the mine plunged into care and maintenance, a second boom is on the horizon.
We are in a lucky position that we sit on very good real estate for finding good quality ore bodies.
Exploration at the mine has paused for the past 10 years, but new owner NQ Minerals is resuming the search for riches, this time using modern technology.
From 20 or 30 years ago, these pieces of equipment can probably see 10 times further out through the rock, so it's significant.
Financial experts say global uncertainty is seeing investors shelter in the safe haven of gold, leading to its value rising by 40% in the past 12 months.
And as a result, we're seeing some of these mothballed projects starting to come back online because they're more economic given the stronger gold price.
Among them, Beaconsfield, which NQ Minerals bought earlier this year.
If the gold price at current levels, a lot of these second tier and higher cost projects do become feasible. So if the gold price was to be maintained at current levels for a while, you may well see other projects coming online.
The company says it'll be exploring close to the current mine to make use of existing infrastructure. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
The Greens are accusing the Corrections Minister of planning to bulldoze a Parks and Wildlife Reserve for the new Northern Prison. They argue new right to information documents revealed De Pipwe previously tried to protect the land. The Minister says the site was later found not to have conservation values.
De Pipwe recommended the site have permanent protection. And in 2018, De Pipwe informed the federal government this site is part of the National Reserve System, is protected with a binding agreement.
It doesn't contain pristine forest, but shows evidence of a very long history of timber harvesting.
BirdLife Tasmania has also voiced its opposition towards the project. Tasmanian residents living with a disability will be offered free legal support to help tell their stories ahead of a Royal Commission into the sector. The Your Story program is a joint initiative between Legal Aid and the Tasmanian Aboriginal Legal Service. It aims to provide advice and information for those considering giving evidence.
We know that there's a high proportion of people in Tasmania with a disability, and it's really important that we are helping those people get their story across.
A date has yet to be set for the Commission to sit in Tasmania.
Good evening everyone from UTAS Stadium, where a top-of-the-table clash is about to begin between the Northern Bombers and Launceston. There's a big in for the Blues, with Fletcher Seymour rejoining the side, while the Bombers welcome Daniel Withers in place of Fletcher Bennett. Over in the TSLW, Grace Mitchell is back for Clarence after a calf injury. She blames the problem on too much running in recent weeks. The Roos still have plenty to worry about, with 3 players still out injured from the game against Launceston. Clarence faces Glenorchy on Friday night at KG5.
They're a lot younger, they're a lot more skillful, they're a lot quicker, which is actually similar to how we play. We usually like the big grounds because we can run and use our pace, so that should be good for us.
And how about this from North Launceston's Taryn Thomas?
Are you kidding? You see that one? You're joking.
That is from the change rooms at the home ground of the Broadbeach Cats, where North Melbourne trained today. Pretty good.
Good evening. A few showers over the west and far south today as temperatures range from Lake Leaks -2 to our high today of 16 at Friendly Beaches. Hobart, Burnie and Devonport all 14 and Launceston 15 degrees. A few showers over the west and far south as low-level cloud moved over the west, high-level cloud streamed over the east. More low cloud through Bass Strait and Victoria. A cloud band lurks to our west with a cold front. A thin band of cloud runs over the nation's interior. The next low and front gathers cloud over the Southern Ocean. Tomorrow, the first cold front crosses the state in the evening, heralding a cold and vigorous southwesterly airstream. A high moves over the Bight and troughs, the key feature over the mainland. Winds starting out northwesterly tomorrow, reaching 25 to 35 knots and even 40 knots over the east and lower east. A shift to the southwest expected in the evening as the front moves through. A severe weather warning for the north coast and Bass Strait Islands has been issued. A gale warning for all coastal waters, a strong wind warning for the inland lakes and the southeast inshore waters. We also have a sheep graziers warning, current for all districts. So for tomorrow, late showers moving in with the front. Hobart 16, 15 for Geeveston. Bothwell showers increasing, 14 the top. Launceston 14, showery weather, very windy for Devonport 13, 13 for Cressy, becoming windy as well with that wet weather. 14 for Burnie. Strawn showers and wind, 13 the top and 15 for Curry on King Island. St Helens showers increasing, a windy day and 14 degrees, 15 for Swansea and Orford with a similar forecast. On Friday, showers over the west, central and south, falling as snow to 900 metres. Showers over the west and far south on Saturday, a possible light shower over the north. And on Sunday, showers developing over the west in the morning, extending to the far south and north during the afternoon. Sunny and 25 in Perth tomorrow, fine but cooler in Adelaide. A shower for Melbourne, a cold start in Canberra, -3 to kick things off there. Sunny though over Sydney and Brisbane. Hobart 11 and mostly cloudy, partly cloudy over Launceston 10 right now and 10 currently in Devonport. And Kim, you're a couple of days early. It's not Daffodil Day till Friday.
Okay, correct, but I like to be prepared, very much so, and promote a good cause any day. I'll be back later with updates. That's the news for now. Good night.